If you're struggling with chronic inflammation, gut imbalances, autoimmune issues, or brain fog, you might be struggling with something called leaky gut. And what I'd like to do is walk you through a step-by-step approach on how we heal it in our clinic in just 60 days. My name is Dr. Forrest Sauer, and I own Twin Oaks Health, a functional medicine clinic that helps clients get at the root cause of the problem. So let's go ahead and first define some words. A lot of big scientific words are thrown around to completely explain or to explain what's going on inside of your body, but if we don't truly understand what those words actually mean, it doesn't do us any good. So the first word that I want to explain is the term leaky gut. Now I know you've heard of this, but what does it actually stand for? Well, a healthy gut, let's go ahead and say we have these two sheets of paper. These two sheets of paper are representative of your gut lining. Now, with a healthy gut lining, these two cells, so this is one cell, this is another cell in your gut. These cells should be touching with no gaps in between them. There should be no gaps in between them because then we do not have a leaky gut. Well, you've probably already guessed it that when there's gaps in the cells, there's a leak. There's a path for toxins and undigested food and viruses and bacteria to pass through. Now, when this happens, this will create a lot of inflammation, and this is why leaky gut is a problem. More on that in a little bit. But this is a healthy gut right here with no gaps. This is leaky gut. That's the first term. The second term is inflammation. A lot of people understand inflammation if you have a cat that scratches you on your hand, or if you get a scratch or something that's red, it gets inflamed, it swells, it hurts. That's inflammation on the outside. Now, what about inflammation on the inside? Because inflammation just isn't for cat scratches or scrapes. It's also something that's happening on the inside. And with inflammation, what it is it's an immune system response to something that should not be there, like undigested food, bacteria, or viruses. The inflammation is actually going to start bringing the white blood cells to the affected area, in this case, your gut. So you're going to have an increase in immune response in your gut, and it's also going to bring with it water to help flush out the toxins. In some cases, inflammation is a good thing because it speeds up the healing process. But when it becomes a bad thing is when that inflammation has been there for a long, long time, months, years, and sometimes even decades. Now, the last term that we're going to be talking about is your microbiome. What your microbiome is it's simply the bacteria in your gut. It is both your good and your bad bacteria combined. Your microbiome is just taking everything together in your gut. It's the bugs in your gut. So those are the terms that we now know with leaky gut. With leaky gut, like I said, it is the gap in the cells allowing crap to fall through that should not be there. You can think of it like a coffee filter. Making your coffee in the morning, you have to have a filter to prevent the coffee grounds getting into your coffee pot. It's there for a reason. This is exactly how your gut is your gut is the filter for the rest of your body. Your body is the coffee pot. Your gut is the coffee filter. And if you got a bunch of holes in your coffee filter, you're going to get grounds in your coffee and it's not going to taste very good. And for some of you who have extreme leaky gut, it's like you don't even have a filter at all. And then you're stuck there drinking cowboy coffee the whole time and you got to sift it through your teeth and it tastes terrible. And you chew your coffee. So what are the side effects or what are the symptoms of a leaky gut? It's the same with every inflammatory disease. It is pain in your joints, also in your gut, bloating, brain fog, fatigue, thyroid imbalances, other hormonal imbalances, not just your thyroid, autoimmune flare-ups. You can feel exhausted in the middle of the afternoon, want to take a nap, not feeling well rested when you wake up or when the alarm clock goes off in the morning. These are all inflammatory symptoms because of the inflammatory response located in your gut. Some of the consequences of not actually dealing with the root cause of the leaky gut is chronic inflammation. Now, what does chronic inflammation create? Well, it only accelerates disease. It's only going to make disease like cardiovascular disease, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, autoimmune diseases, thyroid disease. It only makes those things worse. So you can think of inflammation as setting the stage for other diseases to come about. This is why for so many clients that I get to see, they start off with one disease or one diagnosis or one medication, and then one turns into two, and then two turns into five, whether it be medications or diagnoses on your medical chart. And that's because if we don't actually start dealing with the root cause without making changes, things do become worse. So now that we know what leaky gut is, here's the 5 steps that we take with our clients to get results within the first 60 days. Step number 1 is we need to remove inflammatory foods. There are foods that are building your body up. There's foods that are tearing your body down. Now, some of the challenges is that this can truly be different for everybody. So we walk our clients through step by step and show them these foods are helping, these foods are hurting. But let's go ahead and just put a label on what it actually means for you. Is it a meat? Is it a nut, seed, veggie, healthy fat, or fruit? Those 6 things are okay. If it is outside of those 6 items, I oftentimes would not recommend it, especially within the first 60 days when we're trying to align the stars, trying to allow your body to heal as fast as possible. And so most people get stuck with the thought process that I'm gonna have to be eating healthy for the rest of my life. Listen, when eating healthy is enjoyable, it's not something that you have to force yourself to do. So many people struggle with the thought that I'm gonna have to be living a healthy lifestyle for the rest of my life. When it is enjoyable, when your body heals, you actually start regaining your energy back, when you start getting back your quality of life, this is when it becomes easy and it becomes second nature to stick with. You can just simply ask yourself this question. Is it worth 60 days of effort so that way you can get your quality of life back? So that way you don't have to continue living with the constant brain fog, depression, and anxiety, and chronic inflammation? Is it worth learning the skill of living a healthy lifestyle? If we put our mindset in the right frame to change, it allows us to stick with these changes and regain our life back once again a lot easier than just simply putting our head down and trying to bulldoze through. So the second step is finding what your food sensitivities are. Now, I've had a lot of clients, before they come to us, they try going gluten-free and they still don't feel better. Here's why. It's because most of the time you're sensitive to more than one food. Perfect example. Let's go ahead and say that you want to water your flower garden. So you get out the hose and you go ahead and you squeeze the nozzle and no water comes out. Well, you look, I forgot to turn the faucet on. So you go over, turn the faucet on, go back over, try to water your flowers again, still no water. Well, what in the heck is going on? Oh, I got kinks in the hose. You free up the kinks, now you can start watering your flower bed and have a beautiful flower garden. It's more than one thing that can oftentimes cause the problem. So if you've gone gluten-free, but you're sensitive to not just gluten, but also corn, well, there's a lot of gluten-free foods that have corn in them. And so if you've gone gluten-free, maybe you've gotten rid of the gluten, but you're just simply increasing another thing that you're also sensitive to, and that's why you don't feel better. Most of the time, when we are working with our clients, there's more than one food sensitivity, which is why if it's not a meat, veggie, healthy fat, fruit, or seed, oftentimes a vegetable, I don't recommend that you eat it, especially during the initial 60 days, because it allows your body that time, that space that it needs to actually heal. We can reintroduce those foods, and we will with time, but initially, let's just simply give our body and our gut the very best chance to heal that it possibly can. The third step is balancing out your gut microbiome. Your microbiome, once again, it's just all of the bacteria in your gut, both the good and the bad bacteria. It's everything. And we need to make certain it's in proper balance. Oftentimes with leaky gut, when there's gaps, there's a lot of bad bacteria that should not be in there, and there's very few good bacteria that should be in there. So what do? We need to focus on speeding up the healing process, and this is where supplements can come in. There's a reason why it's step number 3. First step, remove inflammatory foods. Second step, make certain that we find out what your food sensitivities are. Then we can start focusing on the supplements to speed up the healing. The reason why it's step number 3 is because if we do not fix our diet and we try to put the supplements in front of this, we're putting the cart before the horse, and we're not going to get the results because we're constantly creating damage while trying to decrease the inflammation with supplements. You cannot out-supplement a healthy lifestyle. It's just not attainable. I have found that if you do not change your lifestyle and you try only taking supplements, it doesn't work. So supplements that I like to help accelerate the healing process. Step number 1, I love probiotics. Now there's a billion of them out there. Which one do I like specifically? I like Saccharomyces boulardii a lot. Now it's actually a yeast. So it's actually antibacterial, antiviral, and it helps create a wonderful environment to accelerate the good bacteria. That's why I like it so specifically. There's a lot of different birds with one stone that we can actually knock over. We can help heal your gut and produce good bacteria in your gut with Saccharomyces boulardii. Now, the second step is when we're healing your gut microbiome, if we're going to be detoxifying the gut, there's going to be a lot of dead cells in your body. So getting the dead cells outside of your body is very important. What do I mean by that? I mean that if we're going to detoxify your gut, get the inflammation out, balance out your gut microbiome, you're going to be killing a lot of bad bacteria. Well, those dead cells, those dead bacteria need to go somewhere, and they need to go outside of your body. What I see so often is people will start to detox and they'll get flu-like symptoms. They're creating way too much toxic buildup in their body without actually getting it out. And this is where toxin binders can come in. Things like artichoke leaf, milk thistle. Milk thistle and artichoke leaf, they are actually going to accelerate your liver function. They're going to help your liver get the crap outside of your body. Your liver does a huge amount of work in getting the toxins and crap outside of your body. You can think of it like your janitor. It's going to help keep your body clean. Resveratrol, N-acetylcysteine, quercetin, and sulforaphane. These are all excellent, gentle detoxifiers to help get the toxins outside of your body. It goes a little bit, like I said, it goes a little bit more in depth than just simply taking a probiotic. So that is step number 3. Step number 4 is managing your stress. And usually when I say managing stress, people think that they're going to be lounging on the beach, drinking a mimosa, and that's what it means to de-stress. And so this reminds me of a client that we took on one time where she had tried all the supplements, the diets, the medications, and she just wasn't feeling better. She owned her own small business. She had teenage kids. She was in a relationship, but that was on the rocks. Her and her husband were not getting along at all. And a lot of it was because of her health challenges. You see, she was struggling with brain fog, depression, low energy, almost like no energy. She had to force herself to go to work, and no sex drive. In fact, the low sex drive was a large portion of why her and her spouse were having some marital challenges. Well, what did we do? Because like I said, she had already tried getting her health back already. And she had tried the supplements, and that didn't work. And then she tried the diet, and that didn't work. And she tried the medications, and that didn't work. And she's frustrated. So what did we do? We had to put everything together all at once, meaning detoxify the body. While we're detoxifying the body, figure out what the inflammatory or food triggers are. What are her food sensitivities? Let's get the inflammation outside of the body. Let's make certain that we're getting the proper nutrients into the body so our body can heal. That way our body can start creating hormones on its own. And oftentimes, I'm not saying it's going to work for you, but oftentimes what we see in our clinic is once you start stacking these things and do it all at once, this is when your body has the chance to heal. Get the proper labs taken so that way you know exactly what to focus on and what to ignore. Because, for example, like with this client, she had a thyroid problem. Well, nobody had really ever addressed her thyroid problem beyond a Synthroid medication. So once we actually start fixing her thyroid, it gave her body the freedom to actually start healing the body faster. If we missed that, if we tried to play the guessing game with her and we didn't do the proper lab testing, she'd probably still be stuck and frustrated, just like she had been for many, many years. But because we actually took the time, figured out what was wrong in the first place, and then we were able to figure out this is going to work for you. This is how she got the results. And I see so many clients in this vicious cycle trying to feel better, taking the supplements, doing the diet, and never getting the results that they're looking for because they're doing their very best, putting in all the effort, but at the end of the day, we're just guessing, and everybody's health is different. And if we can actually figure out what's wrong, then we can move forward with confidence on what's actually going to work. So that's how we got results with her. Yes, she gained back energy. She no longer struggles with the brain fog. She no longer has to cancel work because she has actually gotten the energy back. Her and her spouse, they've been able to repair the relationship because she's fixed her hormones. And so the 5th step is to actually fix the root cause of the problem. And I know I've been talking about this the whole time, but it's important to make certain that we're thinking about the problem correctly if we're actually going to have a snowball chance in hell in fixing it. And so that's why, first, doing the due diligence, getting the proper labs taken and tested for, so you know what the problem actually is. If you don't know what the problem actually is, there's no point in actually trying to fix it. Otherwise, we're just simply guessing. So fixing the root cause of the problem, and if your labs have come back normal and yet you still don't feel normal, well, that's because health insurance, it only pays for labs that they can prescribe drugs for. That's why. So that's why oftentimes you need to actually go outside of insurance to health insurance, so that way we can actually look nose to toes what's going on inside of the body, and this is how we eliminate the guessing games. So a quick recap is ditch the inflammatory foods, figure out what your food sensitivities are, feed the microbiome, de-stress the body by putting all these pieces together all at once, and the fifth is actually fix the root cause of the problem. When you start putting the pieces together like this, it allows the body the space and the time to heal. It allows your body to come up for a breath of fresh air, so that way you can get the results that you've been finally looking for. So if this video was helpful, hit the like and subscribe button. My name is Dr. Forrest Sauer. If you have questions, post them in the comments below. And if you have other questions on your health challenges with leaky gut, go ahead and click on this video here.